الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا الدين القويم وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله خير نبي اجتباه وهدى ورحمة للعالمين أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. عباد الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي. All the praise and thanks be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over and over again. We praise Him and we thank Him. We seek His help and assistance. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship but Allah alone without any partner with Him. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Allah's servant and messenger. Dear brothers and sisters, I urge you and myself to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to have taqwa of Allah. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد. O you who believe, have taqwa of Allah and let every soul look what you have set forth and prepared for tomorrow. And the ayah I mentioned, surely Allah forbids ينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي, forbids obscenity in words and action and all evil deeds, and He forbids injustice and oppression. Dear brothers and sisters, in these days Muslims have been receiving a lot of types of injustice in their holy places, in their own rights of movements, rights of having shelter and refuge in this country. And if Muslims stay sleeping and speakless, more decisions and more injustices will follow. That is a reality that we have to face, dear brothers and sisters. If someone is beating you and you keep giving you cheek and you're not speaking, so they will keep beating you and they will keep oppressing you unless you speak out and you resist, then they might stop. But as long as you're silent, they will keep oppressing you and they will keep violating your rights. It's very important, dear brothers and sisters, in this time that we remember our history and we connect ourselves and our children and our families to our history. In Islam, there is no separation between the rituals of the religion and the public life. That's not Islam. Islam is concerned about everything that matters the Muslim. Islam is not only to pray some rak'at and go home and out of the masjid and out of the place of worship there is no worship. No. Even these places, we don't call them places of worship because the Muslim worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala everywhere. Everywhere you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Rasulullah said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. The whole earth is pure and we can pray and worship Allah anywhere. So ibadah and worship to Allah is not restricted to the places of worship, and it is never restricted to these blessed, important rak'at that we offer. Not at all. Islam is a religion of life. Islam is a religion that is present it should be present in every aspect of the life of the Muslim. We cannot turn a blind eye to what is going on to our holy sites. We cannot turn a blind eye to what's going on to our brothers and sisters who are being killed and slaughtered every day. We cannot even turn a blind eye even to any person, even a non-Muslim person, we should not turn a blind eye to oppression or injustice, even to a non-Muslim person. That is what Islam is. That is what Islam is. It's not only about rituals. We have to learn about our history, especially in this day of distorting facts and changing realities. We must learn our history and remind ourselves and our families of the facts. We must roll up our sleeves to regain our rights and to change and to defend the remaining rights that we have. Do we know Al-Quds? Have your children and my children heard of something called Al-Quds? What is Al-Quds? Have they learned and heard about Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa? Do they know about it? Or it's the first time they hear about it? They know nothing about it. Al-Quds, dear brothers and sisters, our very first Qiblah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, since Salah was prescribed for him in Mecca 5 years before the migration, he was facing Baytul Maqdis, Al-Quds, in his Salah. He was facing Al-Kaaba and Baytul Maqdis together. And he was commanded initially to face Baytul Maqdis. And when he was in Mecca, he wanted and he loved to face both of them. But when he went to Al-Madinah, he could not face both of them together. So he kept facing what he was commanded to face, which is Al-Quds, for 16 months. That was our Qiblah. That was the place where we were commanded, and Muslims were commanded to pray towards. Is not this a holy site for us? Is not this an honorable, blessed, important site and place for us? Is not a place that we have to learn about and teach our kids about and be connected with? Is not this part of our religion? If you now pray to a direction other than the Qibla, your salah is invalid. And does it make any sense that non-Muslims take over our Qibla? Our first Qibla, dear brothers and sisters. It's not new that it is under occupation since 1967. And it's not new that the other parts, the neighboring parts of Al-Quds, which is Palestine, Jaffa and Akka and Haifa and those cities now that have been changed in their names and their people. We should never ever forget that this is a Muslim land. And the fact that this so-called state of Israel that was established in 1948 by the blood of the international community, that doesn't make it a fact. That doesn't make it on the truth. That doesn't give it the right of the people that were killed and expelled from their houses. They say, Al-Huquq la tasqutu bil-taqadum. If this has continued for 20, 30, 50, 60 years, that doesn't make it a right for them. That is the right of its people, who until this moment carry the keys of their houses from which they were expelled. And most of them, or many of them, were killed. We should never forget this fact, dear brothers and sisters. We should teach our children that is our land and will remain our land and will return to us sooner or later. But the question is, will you be among those who will contribute to regaining it or not? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us the glad tidings, and we will regain it. But you should ask yourself, what will your role be? And what will the role of your children be? Al-Quds is our first Qibla. We have to teach our kids. We should never forget 16 months in Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As the Sahaba narrated in the hadith, in Bukhari, they prayed towards Bayt al-Maqdis. In Medina, only 16 months, and in Mecca, 5 years. This is the third most holy site in Islam. ثالث الحرمين الشريفين. The first and the most holy site for us is sacred Mecca, Mecca al-Mukarramah. And the second is Al-Madinah al-Munawwara, the illuminated city of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the third is Bayt al-Maqdis, Al-Quds, Jerusalem. That is our third most holy site because it contains Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. That is mentioned in the Holy Quran. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. Glorified and glory to the one and all perfection to the one who took his servant at night in a journey from Al-Masjid al-Haram to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa that we have blessed. Al-Masjid al-Aqsa الذي باركنا حوله. It is blessed and the areas around it are blessed as well. That is our masjid. And that is our city. Al-Masjid al-Aqsa الذي باركنا حوله. And our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us in the authentic hadith that you should not travel exclusively to pray in a certain masjid except in 3 masajid, except for 3 masajid. It's not allowed for you to travel only to pray in a certain masjid except for 3 masajid. Al-Masjid al-Haram ومسجد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ومسجد الأقصى, as Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said in the authentic hadith in Bukhari and others, لا تشد الرحال إلا إلى 3 مساجد المسجد الحرام ومسجد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ومسجد الأقصى, as literally came in this narration by Imam al-Bukhari, because salah in those masajid are multiplied and salah in those places are more blessed. As Rasulullah said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the authentic hadith in Bazzar and others, الصلاة في المسجد الحرام ب100 ألف صلاة والصلاة في مسجدي ب1000 صلاة والصلاة ببيت المقدس ب500 صلاة. Prayer in the sacred house in Mecca equals 100,000 salah, and in the Masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Al-Madinah 1,000 salah, and salah in Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa in Bayt al-Maqdis is for 500 salawat, as our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned. So it is a very holy site for us as Muslims, and we should never ever forget these facts. And why it is Bayt al-Maqdis? It used to be called Ilya in the past, or Urshalim. When Muslims conquered this land at the hands of Sayyiduna Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, 637 AC, 15th or 16th of the Hijrah of Rasulullah, after the Hijrah, the migration of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When he conquered that land, the Muslims called it Al-Quds. This word comes from purity. It's pure and blessed. And Bayt al-Maqdis, why? Our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us that Sayyiduna Dawood alayhi salam, as in the authentic hadith, Sayyiduna Sulaiman, son of Dawood, Solomon, Prophet Solomon, son of David, peace be upon both of them, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 3 prayers. The third of them, and he was given those prayers to be given a great kingdom and to be given a great kingdom and to be a great king and have a great sovereignty. He said, alayhi salam, that, oh Allah, any person who leaves his house and goes to this masjid, means Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, only to pray, he doesn't go there except to pray, then I hope and I pray that he will go back as a newborn baby, means without any sin. So when you pray there, only seeking to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will return with no sins. You will be purified. This is why it is Baytul Maqdis. And Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar, once they narrate that he went there and he prayed and he remained for a long time. Then they brought him some water. He said, I don't want anything. I don't want to do anything on this spot except for prayer, because I want to get the reward of this hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, I hope Allah will give David or Sulaiman alayhi salam will give him the third dua. And since Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam hoped and prayed, so he will be given. So these are some of the quick merits and blessings of this great place and holy site in Islam. We have to learn this and keep this in our mind, and this should make us move. When this place is being violated, or this place is being taken from our hands, or the whole city is being given or recognized as a capital of an occupying so-called state, these occupiers and aggressors and murderers, they can never take our holy city. Only if we are dead. If you are dead, they can do to you whatever you can. But if we are truly alive, they cannot. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who are alive, who are aware of their holy places, who are defending their religion, and who move by all possible means to defend their rights. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who listen to the speech and follow its best. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد الخلق والبشر. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه ما اتصلت عين بنظر أو سمعت أذن بخبر. Dear brothers and sisters, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as in hadith by Imam al-Bukhari, when he was asked about the very first masjid on earth, he said, Al-Masjid al-Haram. It was rebuilt by Sayyiduna Ibrahim alayhi salam. Then he asked what after that. He was asked what was after that. Then he said, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. 40 years after Sayyiduna Ibrahim alayhi salam, the father of the prophet as he is called, the great prophet that we are commanded to follow his footsteps, he built Al-Masjid al-Aqsa 40 years after he rebuilt Al-Masjid al-Haram. So that is a blessed place for us. And those lands are sacred and blessed and holy because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them so. And many scholars like Imam ibn Ashur, the famous Tunisian scholar, he says that also because Sayyiduna Ibrahim alayhi salam is buried there, and so many prophets were buried there. It is the place where Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, peace be upon him, the prophet that we all believe in and love, he was born there. And from there, from that spot, he was saved from the Jews who tried to crucify him, and Allah saved him and raised him to a high place in the heaven. Dear brothers and sisters, the other great station that we must remember in the life of our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in this blessed month we remember his blessed birth sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we must remember his Isra and Mi'raj, the journey that Allah honored him with when he took him from Al-Masjid al-Haram to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, as we mentioned in the ayah. So it is the place where our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to, then he went to the heaven. It's the place where he went to the heaven from. And the wall at which even he tied his camel or animal is preserved by the Muslims. It's called Ha'it al-Mi'raj or Ha'it al-Buraq. Even that wall, those occupiers, they made some legends and they made it their own wall and they distorted the facts. We have to learn our history and to know our identity and to defend our rights. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam went there, he gave us a lesson. When he led Salah, he led all of the prophets in Salah, telling us that this religion is one, that all prophets called for the same message, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing in the hereafter, forbidding everything that is unjust and everything that is evil, and commanding everything that is good. We have to remember, dear brothers and sisters, our duty towards Al-Quds, Jerusalem, especially in these days, not because of these words by this person or that, because it is meaningless, and it's worthless, and it doesn't change the facts. All of those decisions, and rules, and bans should not affect us, because we believe Allah is the one who controls everything. This is just maybe a shock for us to wake up and to learn our history and to defend our rights. In 3 points, what can we do for Al-Quds? Number one, we must learn and teach our kids and our families and educate people, Muslims and non-Muslims, of the true history of this land. How come these Palestinian brothers who were expelled and who are now in camps in so many countries, how can they be denied to their own land and to their own city? And every year, bit by bit, settlements, demolishing their houses, taking up and eating up their lands by the separation wall, the racist separation wall, or by different excuses. We have to wake up and be aware and defend the oppressed ones, especially our own brothers and sisters, and especially in our holy sites. That's the very minimum that we have to connect. If we don't care, we are not Muslims. If you don't care, you don't belong to this ummah. If we don't teach our kids, they will forget about it, and they will take even more. But we have to educate ourselves and our kids about these facts and about our history. And the second one is we must do all possible legal ways in this country. All possible legal ways. We don't go against the law. But the law, alhamdulillah, better than many so-called Muslim countries, we can express our opinion. And we can stand up and protest and raise our voices against this injustice and this oppression and this wrong decision and the other wrong decisions that violate our rights and the rights of others. So we have to move with all possible ways, everyone according to his capacity. And the third and the last, but never the least, is to supplicate to the one who controls everything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our parents and our sheikhs and those who taught us and those who have rights upon us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liberate us from our desires and egos so that we can liberate our lands. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us victory over our desires so that we can get victory over our enemies and aggressors and occupiers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give relief to our brothers and sisters who are suffering everywhere. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liberate al-Masjid al-Aqsa from the hands of the aggressors and the occupiers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy everyone who wants evil for Islam and Muslims. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide and give success and support everyone who wants good for Islam and Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and make us guides to others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who listen to speech and follow its best, and make us of those who are connected to their identity and to their religion, and of those who give a beautiful picture of Islam to others. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Aqlis.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Hayya al-salah, hayya al-salah, hayya al-falah, hayya al-falah. Qad qamati salatu, qad qamati salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah.
استووا إلى الصلاة يرحمني ويرحمكم الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. الله. Islam is a religion of life. We cannot turn a blind eye to what is going on to our holy sites. We cannot turn a blind eye to what's going on to our brothers and sisters who are being killed and slaughtered every day. We cannot even turn a blind eye even to any person, even a non-Muslim person. We should not turn a blind eye to oppression or injustice, even to a non-Muslim person. That is what Islam is. And the fact that this so-called state of Israel that was established in 1948 by the blood of the international community, that doesn't make it a fact. That doesn't make it on the truth. That doesn't give it the right of the people that were killed and expelled from their houses. If this has continued for 20, 30, 50, 60 years, that doesn't make it a right for them. That is the right of its people who until this moment carry the keys of their houses from which they were expelled. And most of them, or many of them, were killed. Muslims called it Al-Quds. This word comes from purity. It's pure and blessed. And Baytul Maqdis. Why? Our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us that Sayyiduna Dawood alayhi salam, as in the authentic hadith, Sayyiduna Sulaiman, son of Dawood, Solomon, Prophet Solomon, son of David, peace be upon both of them, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 3 prayers. The third of them, he said, alayhi salam, that, oh Allah, any person who leaves his house and goes to this masjid, means al-Masjid al-Aqsa, only to pray, he doesn't go there except to pray, then I hope and I pray that he will go back as a newborn baby, means without any sin. So when you pray there, only seeking to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will return with no sins. You will be purified. This is why it is Baytul Maqdis. When this place is being violated, or this place is being taken from our hands, or the whole city is being given or recognized as a capital of an occupying so-called state, these occupiers and aggressors and murderers, they can never take our holy city. Only if we are dead. That at the end of the time, we will fight those Jews until the rocks and the trees will speak. O Muslim, this is a Jew behind me. These occupiers and aggressors and murderers, they can never take our holy city. Only if we are dead. In 3 points, what can we do for Al-Quds? Number 1, we must learn and teach our kids and our families and educate people, Muslims and non-Muslims, of the true history of this land. How come these Palestinian brothers who were expelled and who are now in camps in so many countries, how can they be denied to their own land and to their own city? And every year, bit by bit, settlements demolishing their houses, taking up and eating up their lands by the separation wall, the racist separation wall, or by different excuses. The second one is we must do all possible legal ways in this country. All possible legal ways. We don't go against the law. We can express our opinion, and we can stand up and protest and raise our voices against this injustice and this oppression and this wrong decision and the other wrong decisions that violate our rights and the rights of others. And the third and the last, but never the least, is to supplicate to the one who controls everything. And the very first fact that we need to be aware of, which is, it's not you who chose. It's not you who chose your skin color. And your skin color never gives you any preference or any privilege. Right? And the other fact is that all of us, we belong to this earth. All of us, we came from this earth. And the other fact, that all of us are from Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. We all come from the same father alayhi salam and from the same mother. So how can you show off or claim that you're superior? In what sense are you superior? You and me and you and him and him and him and this German brother and this American and this Arab and this Pakistani and this Indian, this, all of them, we belong to the same source. So in what basis? you claim that you're different. And this is also mentioned in another nice hadith by our beloved sallallahu alayhi wasallam, narrated by Imam al-Tirmidhi, that he said sallallahu alayhi wasallam, people are the children of Adam. People are the children of Adam. And Allah created Adam from dust. Then he read the ayah. Chapter 49, ayah 13. All people, not all Muslims, all people, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female. We are created from the same parents. We came all from the same parents, Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam. And we made you into peoples and tribes so that you get to know one another. So that you get to know one another, not to fight one another and despise one another and have hatred with one another. Just like our beloved sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he reached Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara, and he made the constitution of Al-Madinah that organized the relationship between people who lived in one land, even though they were from different religions, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, if you will. He says in that document, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Yahudu bani Auf ummatun ma'al mu'minin. That those Jews and whoever lived in Al-Madinah at that time who were non-Muslims, he's saying, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they are ummah, one community with the Muslims. Then he says, they have their rights, they have their religion, and we have ours. So we have to be proud of our religion and our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Islam, that we embraced all people in one land. So keeping this in mind, when we talk about the special brotherhood among Muslims, absolutely we have this unique and special brotherhood, the brotherhood of the Iman, the brotherhood of the Islam. When we talk about this, we have to keep in mind that doesn't mean we are enemies with non-Muslims. And this document from our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the practical example that he lived along with his Sahaba who came after him shows us this practical example and practical teachings that Islam tolerates and can coexist and embrace people of other faiths. The main principle that you need to remember very well, Allah does not forbid you to deal, how should I deal with non-Muslims? To deal kindly and justly with those who did not fight you because of your religion, nor did they expel you out of your homes. And surely Allah loves those who are just. So Allah commands us to deal with them with justice, right? Right? No. No. Allah does not command us to deal with them with justice. No. He said with kindness and justice. Kindness and justice. So how will you deal with them with kindness? How? This means you will wish for them the good, right? You will deal with them with love and mercy, right? Not with hatred, not with superiority. Look, he also sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us as Muslims. He warned us, as in the hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari, that whoever kills that type of person, a person who has been given a visa by a Muslim country, or who has been given a security or guarantee that he's going to be safe, then a Muslim killed that type of person, then the Prophet ﷺ is saying that a non-Muslim person who has been given the guarantee or the security for his life, whoever kills such a person will not smell the fragrance of paradise. Our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the authentic hadith, لا يبلغ العبد حقيقة الإيمان حتى يحب للناس ما يحب لنفسه من الخير. A believer will not reach the perfection or the reality of faith unless he loves for people
the good that he loves for himself. This is for all people, not only Muslims. A believer will not reach the reality of faith unless he loves for people the good that he loves for himself. That's for all people.
We cannot even turn a blind eye even to any person, even a non-Muslim person. We should not turn a blind eye to oppression or injustice, even to a non-Muslim person. That is what Islam is.
As we read in the authentic hadith narrated by Imam al-Bukhari, that there was a Jewish servant that used to serve Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and one day that Jewish servant got sick. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of creatures and the most beloved one to the Creator, he visited that Jewish servant in his house. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to be careful and to be kind with our neighbors. And from this understanding, we have one of the great Sahaba, Ibn Amr radiallahu anhu, as in the authentic hadith narrated by Imam Tirmidhi. He came to his house and he found that his people, they slaughtered a lamb for food. Look what this student of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, look at his character. He said to his family, "Did you gift something of the lamb to our Jewish neighbor?" That's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, "What, to the Jewish?" He said, "Yes. I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, Jibreel kept reminding me about the rights of the neighbor until I thought the neighbor will be one of my inheritors."
He took the keys of this blessed and holy land. We mentioned Al-Uhda Al-Umariyya, which can be translated the Umari pledge or treaty or promise. And we mentioned it is an amazing example of the civilized aspects of the reign of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. How civilized he was. He radiallahu anhu gave them their rights. He, as we explained, the whole treaty, the whole promise that none of their churches should be touched, none of their people should be forced to leave, none of their people should be forced to accept Islam. That is the history that we have to be proud of. So alhamdulillah, this is something that really should make us proud of our religion. This is something that should really make us feel the honor and the love for this religion and speak with pride and with dignity and without any embarrassment, and teach this to our kids and our children and our youth. Not to feel embarrassed when someone comments on us about jihad or fight or Islam spread by the sword. Well, go and see in Syria the churches. Since the time of Sahaba until now, there are churches. So Islam took over, but never forced people to accept Islam. Right? Who can beat such proofs? The Qibts in Egypt since the time of Sahaba and before, they're still there. Their churches, as we mentioned last time, Sayyidina Umar did not allow any Muslim to destroy the churches of Muslims, of non-Muslims, and the places of worship of non-Muslims. It's not allowed. Even when he, as we're going to mention this in details inshallah, when Al-Quds, Jerusalem was conquered, and he went by himself with humbleness and dignity to take the keys of that city, he did not accept to pray in that church that is there, because he was afraid Muslims later on will say, our leader prayed here, so it's ours. He did not. So that Muslims don't take over that church. It's there until now. This is reality. This is not statements or tradition books. No, this is reality. These churches are proof that cannot be beaten, right? And those Christians and Jews who are in the Muslim countries now, living until now, they are clear proof that cannot be beaten, that Islam never forced people to accept it. That is the summary. Jihad or fight in Islam is defense.
defending ourselves, our countries, our property, defending the oppressed people, defending the freedom of people to have access for knowledge and to have access to the truth.
Unfortunately, some Muslim youth coming now to distort the pure picture of Islam. These Muslims who claim that they established an Islamic state, ISIS, they have distorted the picture of Islam. These people never represent our deen. They never represent Islam. If the Prophet is telling you to be merciful with the animal and not show them the knife, these people hold the hostage, a Muslim or a non-Muslim, an innocent person. They hold him or her and they just slay them.
As some so-called Muslims unfortunately do now in some Muslim countries, where they assassinate and they kidnap and they kill non-Muslim people who are living or visiting the Islamic countries. Another very important hadith narrated by Imam Ahmad, that the Prophet ﷺ said, any man who gives security or guarantee of security to another man, then he kills him, then I am innocent. I have no relation to the killer, even if the one who's killed is a kafir, even if the one who's killed is a disbeliever. I have no relation to the killer. I'm innocent from this action, and I condemn and I don't accept this action in any way. And we also find another hadith narrated by Imam Abu Dawud radiallahu anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever hurt a non-Muslim citizen, then I will be his opponent on the Day of Judgment.
Once we hear the word jihad, oh, fight. No! This word jihad has been revealed in the Quran for so many times, for 13 years in the time of the Prophet ﷺ in the Meccan era, and there was no fight at all. So, what is jihad? The major type of jihad, the greatest type of jihad is jihadun nafs. The strife or struggle against your own self, against your own desires.
But we have to educate ourselves and our kids about these facts and about our history. And the second one is we must do all possible legal ways in this country. All possible legal ways. We don't go against the law. But the law, alhamdulillah, better than many so-called Muslim countries, we can express our opinion. And we can stand up and protest and raise our voices against this injustice and this oppression and this wrong decision and the other wrong decisions that violate our rights and the rights of others.